in HD 47. She wants to go to the Pink Palace and represent you. And of course, you guys know I call it the Pink Palace because A, it's made out of pink granite, and B, everyone in there thinks they're royalty, and C, everyone that gets elected in there automatically thinks they got 10 more points on their IQ. And so they realize immediately what happens there is that now that they got those additional 10 points, they no longer have to represent. They can lead. So Jennifer Fleck, I want to thank you for coming in. So there's a couple of questions on the floor here. I'm looking at these. And the first question I'm going to ask you is a very difficult question. But right now, the Republican Party of Texas has decided that the only way they're going to be able to maintain power is if they reach out to Islam. Your thoughts?
I think every American citizen, their first allegiance has to be to the United States of America. Period.
That's going to be pretty tough because in Islam, it doesn't allow that. Islam absolutely requires you to flush whatever existing source of governance there is and replace it with Sharia law. So that would mean that Islam is incompatible with any constitutional republic.
I know. It's probably happening to a greater degree than most of us realize, most of us are aware of. I have a friend that's a volunteer border patrol agent, and he says that there are Islamists coming across the border even, and so I know that it's happening. I don't know to the degree that it's happening. I know that there are schools that are anti-American. That's really scary, except for I'm starting to think all public schools are anti-American. I think we probably all needed...
Public schools, by and large, have become anti-American. I mean, I wish it wasn't the case.
Me too.
And some of you guys think maybe I'm overstating it, but I just got to call it like I see it, and that's the way that it looks to me.
Mm-hmm. Well, even the ICE, the assault on the building recently, where they took down the American flag and they defamed it and raised it up, and raised a Mexican flag. I mean, that's anti-American. It's the same thing. It's anti-American, and so it should be illegal. It should be illegal. There should be more news about it.
Well, it barely made the news at all.
I know.
But I have a real problem with that.
And I understand what you're saying. I think we have a lot more enemies than just the Muslims, although I am agreeing with what you're saying. I watched what's going on in schools. I watched what was happening in the Capitol this session, and we have to have better government, period.
Well, have you ever been up there on Muslim Day at the Capitol?
No.
Did you know that we have a state-sanctioned Muslim Day at the Capitol?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it's been going on now for 4 years.
Okay.
What does it say about Texas that we now have a state-sanctioned Muslim Day at the Capitol?
Well, they designate a lot of ridiculous days at the Capitol when we need to be passing very important legislation. We're designating Pie Day and Knife Weapon Day, and it's ridiculous.
Well, I don't know. I kind of like Knife Day. I don't know. I'd strap on a sword and go up there and swagger around a little bit.
I know, but we got important things to do. Let's do the important things, and let's leave all the rest of that stuff for the last day.
America as a whole has enemies. Lots of enemies. We're in a big jungle, and there are lots of animals.
We have lots of enemies on the interior. We have lots of enemies inside the country that are trying to destroy our social fabric and destroy our schools and brainwash our children and change the way socialism is an enemy. So we have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, Sheriff Joe Dana. He's not sheriff yet, but he's going to be.
Okay.
He said, I found you, Doc. You can't run from the law. So Joe Dana's running for Harris County Sheriff. He is a fine man. I have enormous respect for him, and he is what we need here in Harris County.
I'm for him. If he's a conservative, I'm for him.
He's a conservative, and he loves the Lord Jesus Christ.
I'm for him.
So, and I guarantee you that is the truth. And that's what we need. Right now, we had our sheriff here. What's his? Gonzalez? I can't remember his first name. Our sheriff here and our county judge, Lena Hidalgo. Both of them made statements that they will not enforce immigration law in Texas. Now, I'm thinking the county judge and the sheriff should be enforcing the laws of this country, and yet they came out and said they would not. To me, that makes them criminals. Do you have any thoughts on that while I'm trying to get you in trouble, Jennifer Fleck?
Well, I'll say this, because my beginning issue in politics was education, I know that the Texas Education Code is good law, and the schools don't enforce the laws that are on the books. So I think this is a systemic problem, that we have agencies and school districts and counties and cities that don't enforce the laws on the books. And the reason that's possible is because our lawmakers, they create law, but then they don't create an enforcement provision. So if you break the law, there is no consequence. That's the problem.
Well, I can see that, but in the case of immigration, Texas easily could round up anyone that's here illegally. And some people say, well, they're not criminals. Mm-hmm. Well, they broke the law to come here. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is, I sadly know too many people that have been killed by illegal aliens here in Texas. And one of them, Spencer Govach, young man, 22, 23 years old, just dropped his girlfriend off after a nice dinner. This guy owns a music store, and he runs his own band, and he's an up-and-comer, and he's parked at a stoplight. And an illegal alien who had already killed 2 other people that night walks up and blows his brains out. Mm-hmm. The good news is Spencer Govach didn't know what was coming. He was sitting at a stoplight, and the next minute he's beholding the face of God. So that was the good news. But the bad news is we lost a guy that was an employer. We lost a guy that was helping people. We lost a guy that was paying taxes. And at the tender age of 22 or 23, wherever he was in there, he's just getting started. What would he have done had he lived a full life? What could he have done for Texas?
Right. No, I agree. We need better leadership, better government. We have to vote for different people, vote for different sheriffs, different mayors, different city councilmen. I mean, we have a homeless problem in Austin right now because we have a bad council and a bad mayor. So
don't even get me started on the mayor of Austin.
Hold on, but we have a responsibility in that. In that, we have to vote for different people. And we have to be willing to run and be a candidate and be a mayor and be a councilman. Guess what? This is inconvenient. Really, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I had all of us have good lives. I had a great life.
Yeah.
But I'm just not going to be led by people who don't have my best interest at heart, don't have our best interest at heart. I'm not going to allow it. And all of us have to get kind of righteously angry and do something about it.
Well, I just wish there were more people like you.
Well, there are.
So
they just need to be motivated.
We're putting out the appeal right now, and that is, all of you guys out there listening, we complain about the government, but the question is, what are you doing about it? And maybe some of you guys listening to this show out there, I know a lot of you are activists. I know a lot of you get out there and support candidates, and you knock on doors, and you pass out literature and those things, but maybe it's your turn to do what Jordana is doing, and that is to leave the easy life of just being a lieutenant in the constable's office and going out there and actually running for sheriff where it's rough and tumble. And Jordana, because of his righteousness, because of what he wants to do, he's also paid a heavy price. And I respect the fact that in spite of that, he didn't fall down. He got up and he said, I'm going to make a difference. I am not going to quit. And he's doing exactly what Jennifer Fleck is. That's why I've got her webpage up there. Fleck-Texas Strong. That's F-L-E-C-K, Fleck, the word Texas, and the word strong.com. Fleck-TexasStrong.com. There is a contribute button right there, which you can see that I got my little mousy pointer there on, and you can go there. And you can be a part of this. But I'm looking at the chat room here today, and everybody in there thinks you're pretty awesome.
Thank you. Well, I want to encourage other people to run, other good conservatives to run, and then we need to get behind them, and we need to back them and support them financially and block walk for them and endorse them with our friends. And I mean, I don't know how else to do it. I don't know what the formula is except for to encourage people to run.
Well, this is what we're going to do here today. We're doing that. And for the new listeners out there, the day when you could just go to work every day, pay your tithes on Sunday, and vote Republican are gone.
Yes.
They no longer exist. If you're going to survive in this world today, if you're going to make a difference, and there's my favorite moving guy, Alan Boyu. Thank you for joining us today, Alan. That's the guy you need to call if you need to get moved. If you don't do these things, you've got to, A, write checks. And I should be able to take a look at your checkbook and see who you support. It should be that simple. My pastor once said, I can take anybody out of this church, give me your checkbook, and in 5 minutes I can tell you who you are.
That's right.
By where you're putting your money.
Mm-hmm.
So, A, you got to write checks to these guys. And if you're a Texan, you need to be writing Jennifer Fleck a nice fat, at least $100, okay? And I don't care whether you're in her district or not, HD 47, centered around Austin up there. But
because we all vote on all bills.
That's
so
it.
I don't just represent House District 47. I represent the whole state. I'm an equal vote with all 150 members.
That's it. And stuff's going to come out. And we've got to have good people we can trust up there. Jonathan Stickland's not in my district, but I supported him because he was a good guy. Now I'm going to have to find somebody else. So you guys have got to do this. We're going to make this thing happen. So you can go there, you can contribute. You got to write checks. You've got to be willing to get out and do something. Maybe that's find a candidate and say, hey, I'm going to go out on Saturday and I'm going to knock on 100 doors for you and hand out your literature. Most of these candidates, I'm sure you do, you've probably got some push cards or something you could put in somebody's hand if they wanted to do that for you,
yes.
Jennifer Fleck?
Yes.
So you could do that. Now, for all of you guys or gals out there, because I know I've got some elderly listeners, you can't get out and go down the street in a wheelchair and last very long, I understand. Unless you got one of them fancy electric ones made by Ferrari. But for the rest of you guys, you probably got a phone list. You've probably got a list of voters in your area.
And they have friends. They know people. So HD 47 goes around Lake Travis. A lot of people say, well, I don't live in your district, I can't help you. And I'm like, I bet you know somebody who lives around Lake Travis. So my district goes all the way around Lake Travis. So you can just reach out to those people and let them know that who I am and where they can find me, and I'd love to meet them.
Well, that's it. Like Don said, I never heard of you before. Well, now you have.
Right.
So now it's incumbent upon you guys to share the word. And
real quick, I want to say this too. I understand a Republican's reservation about you say this, but then will you actually do it when you get to the Capitol? I understand that reservation because Republican members have disappointed us again and again and again. So I created a YouTube channel that has recordings of testimonies of me at the Capitol since 2013. People can go look at those. They're Fleck-Texas strong, and you can see this is the person I have been for the last 7 years. This is who I am.
So this is not a new invention of Jennifer Fleck.
I didn't just all of a sudden decide, I think I'm going to run for office and I'm going to be for families. No, I've been fighting for families as an activist for free for the last 7 years.
Well, I have enormous respect for David Thomas Roberts.
I do too.
And in the interest of full disclosure, Defiance Press is a supporter of this show. And if you're looking for a good book, you should go to defiancepress.com right now and buy all of them because there are no bad books there. But if David Thomas Roberts is promoting you, that automatically took you to the A list in my book.
Awesome.
And then I said, well, let me just check it out for myself. But
endorsements matter. People who are influencers or have friends, and you go out on Facebook and you say, I've met this woman, or I know this woman, or I've researched her, I'm for her. Endorsements are huge. That's part of participating in the process.
Well, right now, I am endorsing Jennifer Fleck.
Thanks.
And I'm gonna work for you and do everything I can to help you get elected, even though I'm not in HD 47. But I understand how important it is because I have to deal with the Pink Palace on a fairly regular basis. So, if Chaplain Gypsy Roberts said, if you're going to survive today, you need to have a long-range rifle and the ability to use it. So we'll see what Joe Den has to say about that. But, ladies and gentlemen, we've got to get behind the right people if we're going to make a difference. And I have been fortunate, as you have been fortunate, to get to hear Jennifer Fleck here today and to get to meet her a little bit. You can go to her website. There's voter info there. There's a volunteer link there. It's going to take something to get you elected because, particularly up in Austin, they are shifting pretty hard left. I mean, the Antifa, all the Tifas and tutus up there, and all the communists.
I think HD 47 is still a conservative district. I think it's very doable.
Have you seen any apartment complexes moving in there recently?
Not where we are, but I don't. The district is actually a very big district compared to the other 5 in Travis County. So, not a lot.
I'd like you to drive around and look and see if we got any new apartment complexes.
I'm sure there are some.
There are, because what I've seen, and this is actually being run by the State Department of the United States, they have come up with a plan to give money to the right investors to get these apartment complexes built in conservative districts and then fill them up with Section 8.
It's a good strategy.
And there's one apartment complex we went to. This place is gorgeous. One of the nicest places I've ever been. One of the most beautiful pools I've ever seen. It's all Section 8.
Well, we have to have strategy too, right? That's strategy.
That's why we were there, because that was our strategy.
Yeah, we need to be strategizing.
We're going to go out and reach them.
Right.
And,
no more purple sessions. This session was a purple session. No more purple sessions.
Well, excellent. I am really late for a break, but a lot of people out there have been blaming Dennis Bonnen. Now, I don't like Dennis Bonnen. I think he's an uglier, meaner version of Joe Strauss. But I don't blame Dennis Bonnen. He was put there by Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick and Greg Abbott. I think you'd agree with me that nobody becomes Speaker of the House unless leadership accepts it. So, and one of the words I heard through the grapevine was, oh, they don't like our man Joe Strauss. Wait till they see what we got in store for them.
Yeah, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, we're going to teach them. So anyway, Jennifer Fleck, God bless you. I mean, drove all the way from Austin to be live in studio.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for coming. It means a lot to me personally, and I can guarantee you all of the thousands of Texans that are out there watching the show right now, it means a lot to them too.
Great, thank you.
Thank you for being a part of the Doc Greene Show. Frank, last break, and then I got some news for you. Be right back on the right side of the mic with Doc Greene.